Today we're going to start off by diving into my girlfriend's 240SX. In a recent video, I replaced the valve cover in hopes that it would help some of the issues that were going on with this car. Unfortunately, for the past couple of years, this car has not been running right. And what's happening is it dies out once it gets up to operating temperature. There are a couple things that we've already replaced. We've replaced everything on the hot side. So the manifold, turbo, all the gaskets, all brand new. However, we did not touch anything on the intake side. Now, the only reason I replaced the valve cover is because the gasket was not looking too great. There was red sealant along the entire thing, and I thought maybe that could be causing a vacuum leak, because believe it or not, this valve cover is under vacuum. Now, a lot of you guys gave me some great ideas and suggestions as to what I should try to repair next. So I ordered a few parts from Nissan. We have the idle air control valve gasket. This is probably the most recommended thing. Not necessarily the gasket, but to just inspect the idle air control valve. I'm assuming the gasket on that control valve is gonna be toast anyways, just considering how old this engine is. Also have a throttle body gasket and then both intake gaskets. And this is for the alternator bracket. Not really part of the concern here. The previous owner did some interesting mock-ups, just not using the correct hardware basically. And while we're in here, hopefully we can clean all of that up. So I guess to start us off, let's look at that idle air control valve. And I've never actually worked on the intake side of an SR20. I might start with just unbolting it from the head and just pulling everything off, disconnecting all the connectors, and then we can go from there. Also, I'm not sure what is going on here, but I don't think this is factory. Yeah, no, definitely not. I feel like there's supposed to be another tube here. I'm gonna have to look at some diagrams. I will mention, we did confirm that the engine harness does have some loose pins where it connects to the ECU, but there are still many other things that we can check over. Also, my neighbors are getting a new roof, so that's what that sound is. Ah, check it out. First alarming thing. There's a little plug right here, but it looks pretty corroded if you ask me. Well, now it's definitely a vacuum leak. Oh yeah, that's cooked. Now, a few people did mention to check the throttle screw, and it looks like it's still in there. So that's good. Don't know what's going on here, though. I'm gonna go ahead and take off the fuel rail, too. I did also purchase all new grommets for the injectors, because this one looks like it may have been leaking a little bit, or seeping. Now, you have to be really careful not to lose these washers. They're supposed to space out the fuel rail. What are we hitting? Is this not able to come off without taking off the lower portion? I would have thought they would have made that possible. I'm pretty sure it was these 4 studs on each corner hanging up the manifold, so I'm going to use the double nut method and just take out the bottom studs. Got it. All right, let's see if that was the problem. Yep. All right, intake manifold is free. Oh, lost the grommet. This looks crusty. Whew, we're gonna have to do some cleaning up here. I'm not gonna set this face down on the concrete because we want to protect these 2 machined surfaces. Let's see how we're looking in here. Oh, accidentally nudged it. I wanted to look at it before I nudged it. I'm not seeing any obvious breaks or cracks in it. Same goes for this one. Definitely gonna need to try and scoop out as much of that gunk as possible. Oh, there's a puddle of oil in there. That's not good. And here we are, the idle air control valve. Guess we'll take this thing off and see how gunked up it is. I wonder if that has oil in it or soot clogging it up. Oh, while I'm in here, a lot of you guys suggested a new engine coolant temp sensor. I already did that last year. That's why it looks so shiny. And roof update, still going. I went ahead and scooped out all that gunk from the intake ports and then stuffed each one with a rag just to prevent any further debris from falling in there. I do plan to clean up the mounting surfaces later, but I just wanted to do that for now. As for the idle air control valve, I've already disconnected it right here from the harness. It has this little sub harness, that's pretty cool. Now it looks like these 2 ports are coolant ports. I don't think I want to take these off. Maybe I'll just fold it over that way. And this port is for the air that comes from the intercooler pipe, which is already disconnected, so we don't even have to disconnect that pipe. So now all we have is these 4 bolts. All right, let's see how this thing looks. On the outside, it's looking very crusty. Oh, it's on there. Oh man. Just as I suspected, that gasket was gonna break. How are we looking in there? Is it gunked up? Do have some gunk here. Not the cleanest. It looks a little wet on this portion of the gasket. Maybe this gasket was the issue after all. It is coming off pretty crusty. But the internals do not look that bad. Everything moves freely. I got this thing soaking in brake clean just in case there was some soot making it sticky. So while that's soaking, let's work on cleaning up these intake ports and grinding off the rest of this gasket. I've gone over everything with the razor blade. That just gets the thicker and initial grime off. Then I go over it with the red Scotch-Brite and look at how nicely it cleans it up. I don't even need to press that hard, but it just takes all the gunk out of all the grooves. Much better, right? After quite a bit of scrubbing, I'm thrilled with how these results are looking. Now I couldn't get it perfect because there is some pitting starting to form, but overall, this looks pretty good. I even cleaned out the inside of the intake manifold. So even this is looking good. But I wanted to show you guys what I found with the idle air control valve. Now I'm not too sure what the proper operation of this thing is. I find that when I pull up on this little tab, I feel a notch. Did you hear that notch? I don't know if it's supposed to stay there or what, but it keeps falling down. Either way, I tried my best to clean out the internals of this thing. It wasn't too gunked up. I was expecting it to be a lot worse, but hopefully refreshing this will help it run better. While we're this deep, I think it's a good idea to replace that throttle body gasket, and then we can clean up all of the surface as well, because that's pretty crusty too. And strangely enough, these take Allen bolts. Looks like this gasket cracked off as well. Not as bad as the idle air control valve. Oh, I forgot there's two coolant lines that go through this thing. We have a little bit of buildup in here, nothing too crazy though. Looks like this hinge is damaged. I'm not able to slide this cable through. You can tell that it's warped. I wonder if something hit it. Well, the year is already 1/4 over. Are you guys happy with the progress you've made so far this year? Are there some things that you're slacking on? Some things that you can pick up on? Are you doing better than you were last week, last month, last year? If so, then you are doing well. You're on the right path. It's important to stop and think once in a while to make sure that you're on the right path, the path that you want to go on. Because at the end of the day, this life is your choice. And yeah, there's a lot more things I'd rather be doing than cleaning gunk out of a throttle body right now. But sometimes you have to do things you don't like to get to a place that you want to be. Because the goal for this thing is for it to run right. And at this point, this is just what it takes. Do you have what it takes? Of course you do. Everyone has what it takes. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's just a choice. But if you're not where you want to be, don't beat yourself up about it. Just use that disappointment as fuel to do better. Not every day is promised, but you can still make the best out of each day that you do have. We're getting ready to go back together. But before we do that, let's find a fitting that can fit this throttle body port. I have this little assortment here of block off grommets. This one looks right. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking about things that could have potentially fallen into the intake manifold again, but don't worry, I cleaned it out completely, even the front end here. It's kind of hard to see. There is some pitting that was happening, so again, it's not perfect. Plus I got some compressed air and blew out all the extra dust from the working area. Let's go find that brand new gasket and put on our first new piece. Gasket throttle. Go ahead and torque this thing down to spec. All right, let's put on the idle air control valve gasket next. I don't know why I thought to smell this thing, but it smells like cat piss. Oh, whew, thank God. I guess we're ready for these next two gaskets. Let me just clean this thing up really quick. It's not perfect by any means, but this is a hell of a lot better. Also, a roof update. They're almost done. Now I ended up leaving those two studs out for the bottom, and I just found some bolts that match the exact length in my bolt bin. Let's put on the fuel rail. We're getting close here. This will be the fun part where we have to put in a bolt and then put in a washer under it without dropping it. Now I'm not gonna put on those weird looking lines again. These are the ones I'm talking about. We took them off the intake manifold. So we have 3 open ports: PCV, this intake tube port, and this intake tube port. I don't have the correct piece, I realize. I'm missing a T-fitting that goes to the PCV valve. Basically, these 2 intake ports connect to the PCV. But a lot of people were commenting that they just block those off. So for now, and for diagnostic purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and cap them off. I think the last thing we need to do is install the injector plugs. All right, I think we're done. Another thing is, I'm not sure how this is supposed to attach. I don't know if this is the right throttle cable for an SR. This might be a KA throttle cable. I don't know if those are the same, but this is not looking like it's gonna work. Really hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to zip tie it back until I can figure out what pieces I'm missing. I'd say we did pretty good today. I think we're about ready for a test start, maybe even a test drive. I'll do one more visual inspection to make sure everything's connected correctly, and then we'll take it for a spin. Everything looks good. Uh-oh, what is this hitting? Yo, no way. Intercooler pipe on steel? Is that a hole? No way. There was a hole in this intercooler pipe the whole time. That'll do it, folks. That will do it. Let's pull off this pipe and take a look at it. I don't have anything here to TIG weld it, so maybe I can slide, I don't know, a coupler over it just for now to see if that fixes it. Well, that's gotta fix it. That's 100% a problem. I got the intercooler pipe off. This is where it was rubbing. That is a confirmed vacuum leak. How many of you guys guessed that it was a vacuum leak? Congrats, you were right. Now, it's not to say there's not more than one issue going on, but that is a significant hole. Now, I went ahead and put a fire blanket down and ovaled out this hole a bit more. I even installed a glove on the throttle body and the intercooler pipe down there, just to make sure no metal debris got in them. And then I coated that grinded metal in epoxy so it won't rust. So I figured we can try and install a little coupler on there. Again, we haven't driven this car in like 2 years without major issues. And we've never driven it with a T28 turbo without any issues. And a good way to slide on these couplers, some soapy water, and spray the pipe down. I'm gonna put a clamp right here. Maybe 2 clamps? We got 2 clamps on here on the smallest coupler in the world. Let's throw it back on the car and go for a test drive. All right, guys, moment of truth. Let's see how we did. Oh, by the way, roofers are done. I know, essential to the plot line. A little prime action. A little squeak. That's new. Speedo still doesn't work. That, I think, has to do with the wiring like we determined last time. AFRs, I don't think work anymore. I'm pretty sure this sensor fell out, if I'm gonna be honest. But remember, the issue of dying out only happened when the car is at operating temperature. So we gotta sit and let this thing cook. But no leaks. Looks good. Like I said, we haven't driven this thing in a long time, so all the tire pressures are low. Only 10 PSI. I'm not too sure if the odometer works or not, but either way, I'm gonna log this repair. We did a lot of gaskets and a lot of general maintenance. Driving into this glare is fun, but so far so good. Hearing a lot of brake noise, but that's because there's rust all over the rotors from sitting so long. We are up to temp. We're at 178. And it did not die. This is good progress. This thing is fast. We never got the full effect because it's been leaking this whole time. Also, the trip is working. The miles per hour is not working. You can see the 1/10 of the mile going up. Well, not now, it just went up. Oh, there it goes. 4 to 5. So this is most likely a cluster issue. I don't think we have a washer bottle in here. No way, that thing is sick. You're not gonna believe this, but that is the intersection where the crash happened. North Ave and 59. Crazy. Looks good, man. Thank you, man. Hey, really good. Looks like we're attracting a crowd. That was quite the experience. Not only are we near the intersection where I almost died, We met the guy with the Impala who was hosting a car show later this month. We met this other guy in the G. And then another guy comes up and he's like, hey, I own a transmission rebuild company. Oh man, who's this? Is this someone else? So now I made a new friend, have a trans plug, and have a car show to go to. Pretty crazy. And all I did was follow that Impala into the gas station. So you never know what can happen. Sometimes you just gotta take that chance. Now that we've confirmed the car works again, let's go pay a visit to Smokes so we can weld up this hole. Smokes is the welding master. You guys already know how to get Smokes some Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna steal one of his fries though. Damn. A nice 300ZX right here. They always have some cool cars parked out front here. Smokes.
STO?
Yeah, this nice 300ZX right here.
Yeah, if only, man. I'll say
What'd you do on this? I know you did something.
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet?
Possibly we might do an exhaust on it. It's completely stock.
Oh, bone stock?
Yeah. He was waiting for this thing for like 2 years.
2 years? Like a special order or something?
Yeah, basically, because it's STO, so it's basically full-on race car, clamshell, so the rear comes off like a clamshell.
Oh,
front
what?
goes forward.
Oh, I see the little tabs.
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't even know.
Yep.
You know, I can't afford these, so I don't know the package deals that comes with them.
Yeah, they get a little pricey, especially this one. Yeah, that's... No. Oh yeah, here's your little tabs.
Oh, you already made it?
Yeah.
Dang, you're on top of it. Yeah, check it out, dude.
Little Band-Aid.
Perfect. That'll
Honestly,
do.
if you want to wait right here, it won't take me longer than 5 minutes to weld out.
Yeah. Oh, let me, got your payment right here.
Alright.
Yeah, there's that.
Shit.
Yeah, had to get you a shake, dude. It's sunny out.
It is nice out. I don't think I've ever actually had a shake in there either.
What? Dude, he already finished this pipe. Huge shout out to Smokes. He welded this thing up in like 4 or 5 minutes. Now before I reinstall this pipe, I want to do something that I should have done before I installed it the first time. I can't take credit for this trick because I've seen many other people do it, but basically you take a hose and then you cut out the outside, like a little slit through it, and then you basically wrap it around your hole. That works as a liner and a little buffer zone just in case your intercooler pipe does come close to this metal. And remember before how I was mentioning the wiring harness is definitely suspect? Other than the loose pins that I found on the ECU connector, this is another reason why. This came with the engine harness. Yeah, not the best. That's all right, it's on the to-do list. We'll get it done eventually, one thing at a time. At least we got this thing running right again. I can't wait to show Fran. Check it out, that's a nice little buffer zone. All right, let's slap this pipe on and go see Fran. I'm not sure if you guys follow the guys over at Drift Games, but unfortunately their shop burned down with a whole bunch of project cars in it. I'm not really sure what we can do to help them in this moment. Maybe head over to their YouTube channel and drop a sub. I don't know, I'm sure anything helps. That's seriously one of the worst possible nightmares that can happen.
Sorry. Got a little excited there. The boost is addictive.
Yeah, it is. Your car is officially the fastest in the fleet.
I don't know, faster than the RV.
Oh yeah, this is way faster than the RV.
It's a lot lighter, so.
It is a lot lighter.
No dying issues, that's good.
Yeah.
Really, thank you so much.
Pause. Woo.
It's so fun to drive, but there's something about it that feels like kind of like loose still compared to the Tech, which is super stiff, but this is a lot faster, so
Yeah.
it's a lot more fun.
Yeah, this thing definitely needs a suspension update. All the bushings are dry rotted. Although we did do the subframe bushing, so at least we have that going for us. This is backwards.
This is so cute.
I want to thank you guys for giving me all the help and tips for fixing Fran's 240. I know it may have taken a while, but I'm glad that we eventually figured it out. Thank you so much for sticking around for another video. Don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.